Hello friends, welcome to my channel Go Digit. Today in this video we will learn about certain commands of the BC Container Helper which can help us to utilize our Docker Business Central and to play with the containers in a more effective manner. Okay, so as you can see that this Business Central which I am running at the moment is not the cloud environment but the uh, on-prem kind of an environment which is not uh, hosted locally from my system, but I have installed this via Docker. Okay, so if you don't know what is Docker or like how we can install the Business Central via Docker, so I have made an already a video about it. I will share that link in my description section. Through that, you can check out at how to install or how to basically play with the Navision or play with the Business Central using the Docker containers. Okay, so but in this video, if you have already installed Business Central using Docker, if you're using so then we will see how we can achieve or how we can utilize certain PowerShell commands which come with the certain module called BC Container Helper, which is an essential module in case you want to install the Business Central in the Docker, because that module only helps us to do the same. Okay, so here is the PowerShell, and I have made the headings here. As you can see, one, two, three, four, five. So total five headings I have made, in which we will learn certain commands of the container helper, and then we will see how we can utilize them effectively. Okay, so this first heading says that BC container installation update version name of the container. So the thing is, as I mentioned earlier as well, that in order to install the Business Central via Docker, we need to use one module uh, which helps us to achieve all the same. Is the name of the module is the BC Container Helper. Okay, so in case that module is not a part of your machine, okay, so at first you have to open the PowerShell and then type this command: install hyphen module, then name BC container help. Okay, so when you run this command, it will install the latest, the stable version of the BC container helper from the PowerShell gallery into your machine. Okay, and as soon as this module get installed, you will now be able to create a new, fresh on-prem kind of a Business Central in your machine. Okay, so now if your module is now successfully installed, then the second thing is we have to see that whether it is installed or not, and then what version is installed in my machine. So to check the version, the command which we have to run is get installed module name and the name of the module. Okay, and now if I run this, it will give me the version number of my module which I have installed. So it is saying that the version is 6.0.12, and this is the name of my module BC Container Helper, which is getting installed in my machine from the PowerShell gallery. Right now, we know that it is correctly installed, and I know the version as well. In case the latest version is not 6 or but the latest version is say 7 or 8 in the future. So what we need to do is that there is one more command uh, through which we can update my module. And it is very simple that we just have to type update hyphen module name BC container helper. You just have to run this, and it will, in case the latest version is available, it will check that, fetch that, and install the same for you in your machine. Okay. Now, Okay, so it is saying that we are installing this module. So let me say yes to all. Okay, so meanwhile, it is running and installing the same. Let's see the last portion, which I have mentioned here as the name of the containers. So although if the BC Container Helper is installed, this does not mean that right after the installation of this machine, you can easily, let's say, run this uh, Navision out of the box. It is not like that. After the BC Container Helper is installed, we have to uh, create a script via some command. For example, there is a command called new-bc container wizard. Okay, if you run this command, it will help you to install the latest version of the Business Center. To create a script, and when you run that script, it will install the version for you. But as I said, that I've already made a video for it, so I will share the link in the description, so that you can watch the complete process. That how in a wizard form, it will ask us the certain questions which we have to answer, and then on the basis of that, it will install the version for us. Okay, after the Business Central is installed using this module, then if we want to know that is there any container is running, is there any Business Central container running or not in my machine? So to check that, there is one command which is bc get hyphen bc containers. And as soon as you press enter, okay, some spelling mistake. Okay, so get hyphen bc containers. Press enter, and as you can see, it has given me the name of my container, which is the BC server. And if I show you the desktop, as soon as you run the wizard and then it will install the Business Central for you, then on the basis of that, you can see here that certain desktop shortcuts are available for me, which is one of the web client test tool, performance test tool, then the command prompt, and then the PowerShell prompt. Okay, and when I just double click on this and run this, you will see that this is nothing but this. It gives me that environment of Business Central only with this URL where the name of the container and then the name of the server instance, which is the BC. And then we just have to pass username and the admin, which you will give or set at a time when you run the wizard and run the script out of it. Okay, and this is how my container is running. So that's what this command get hyphen bc container is also telling me, that this is the name of my container which I'm running at the moment. But because it's a container, it's a Docker container, so it is not running in my local system, but it is running somewhere else. You could treat it like that, that this is the name of the container BC server, which is not the name of my machine. Okay, so now you know that how to install the BC Container Helper if it is not installed, how to check whether the module is installed in your machine or not, then how to update the module, and then in case if you are already using some Business Central Docker, then you can, if you to just fetch out the name of the container, you can run this command, right? So afterwards, let's come to the second category, which is the BC Container Server configuration and debug info and event log. Okay, so sometimes because it is not a cloud environment, it is kind of a on-prem only. It's just that it is not hosting locally via your machine. Okay, it is not installed in your machine. So we know that when we were working, or in case you are using the on-prem, or if you have used it before, there was some administration tool there which have certain settings and so on stuff. Okay, so for that thing, we have one command called get hyphen bc container server configuration. Okay, and then you have to type the container name, which in my case is BC server, but in your case it could be different based on what name you are providing at the time when you are creating a business central container using this module. Okay, so when you press enter, it will give you the list of the complete server configuration. Okay, which includes, as you can see from here, the name of the container, the name of the database server, the name of the instance, okay, the port information like this one, okay, and one more thing is this, the URL stuff, right, which is a kind of a similar URL if you are using the on-prem business center, right? So then one more information is the, if from here itself you can see that whether your database which you are running is a multi-tenant or not. Okay, so apart from this, like so many, as you can see that it has given me all the server configuration details, which I can check it out and I can change as well. I can update them as well, based on my need. Okay, so this is something which you can directly get from your machine itself. You can fetch out all the information about your container based on the server configuration. Let's see the second command, which is the get hyphen BC container debug info. And here also I will provide the same thing, although it has other switches available also, as you can see that exclude environment variables, exclude Docker information, and so on. But let's say I don't want to exclude anything. Let's run the straight away simple command. Now it will give me the information based on the in a form of a category. Okay, so let's see these categories. For example, it is the first category is that it is giving me the logs of my container. The container, like, it's nothing but it is a kind of a machine in itself, which is which have all the similar kind of a pattern, similar kind of a behavior, just like your normal local machine is doing at the moment. And because here also you can see that it is giving me the logs of that machine from where my business central is actually hosting on my server on my local machine, which includes, so you can see here that it is giving me the information of my user, my IP address, and so on, the name, and so that stuff. Okay. Then the second is that it is giving me the information of my Docker. Like you can see that basically if from the business central perspective, it might not be uh, much useful, but for other purposes, maybe you don't know. Every person has some other requirements. So on the basis of that, you can see that Docker information, I'm getting the complete details about the same. Then the labels, then pinging it, it is also checking because the name is the debug information only. So it is checking everything. It is trying to check that whether it is able to ping, it is able to connect or not, and then environment variable information. So this also giving you the complete information about your Docker, about your container, and every stuff. Okay, now third thing is sometimes we get while you're playing, while you're doing something in the business central, and then you get some errors, some random errors which you are not able to trace directly via debugger. Then we know that system also stores the information about everything in the events as well. So we have one command available, get PC container event log. And also, again, I just have to provide that for which container I want to check the event logs. Because if you try to open, although I am running here in my local machine, in my local web browser, this business until I'm running, but still, if I want to trace some information about certain errors, which I will get in the process of the Business Central, then that information will not get stored in my local system event log. Okay, because this Business Central is not installed in my local machine. So this is the command through which when you run this, so it will open the event log of the container itself, right? So as you can see, that's under the save log section. Although it opens the event viewer of your local machine also only, but it created, sorry, it created a folder kind of a thing in the save log folder, and it is giving you the information about that container. And now you can see that your container name and the date and the time itself. And from here, you can watch out and check out every sort of information, and then you can work on that accordingly, right? So this was the use case of this second category. Now let's come to the third category, which is the start container, stop container, and restart container. So basically, if you want to start your container, then you just have to type start BC container, then the container name, and it will start your container. In case your container is stopped, my one is running, so I don't have to do that. The second command is that if you want to stop it, you can do the same. Stop BC container and then the container name. If you want to restart it, you can just type restart BC container and the container name. So simple, simple use case, simple command name. Sorry, guys. Okay, now let's come to the fourth category quickly. And in the fourth category, we will learn about the two commands, which is first thing is the import container license, and the second thing is the test toolkit. Okay, if you type here import BC container license. Okay, so to import the license for your container, you just have to type this command, the container name, and the license file. And in the license file, you have to provide the path where your license file is placed, right? That's all you have to do. And then it will, when you run this command, it will import the license for your container, right? It is already installed, so I'm not running it again because uh, there is no need. Also, uh, the second command, which is uh, this test toolkit to BC container. The thing is, although when you are creating a business central container using this module BC container helper, at that point of time only, it is giving you an option to install the test toolkits. Test toolkit is nothing but certain a set of applications through which you can write the test scenarios to test your application, like how it is working. You can write the AL code using the libraries of the applications which will a part of the test toolkit only. In case you forgot to install at that point of time, then we have this command available, import hyphen test toolkit to BC container. Here you just have to, sorry, BC server, and then although you don't have to provide it is giving you certain switches, like because it there are variety of types like test libraries, test frameworks, test runner, performance toolkit, and so that stuff. In case you don't want to mention any particular switch here, you are you can directly run this, and what it will do, it will start installing. So for example, if I press enter, so it will check my container, my business settle container, and if any application which is a part of the test toolkit is not installed, then it will install the same for me. If it is already installed, then you can see in this case it is checking and then skipping, that skipping app and the app name as it is already installed. So now you can see the list of all the applications which are a part of this test toolkit, and one by one it is checking the same and skipping the same in case it is installed. Otherwise, it will not skip, but it will do the regular stuff to just like publishing an app, installing an app, syncing an app. So it will do those steps. It will run those commands to install all these applications one by one in your container. Okay, so uh, it will take some bit of time because I don't think so all the applications are installed, or maybe if it is all installed, then also it will take some minutes. Meanwhile, what I'll do, let's say the last category is, meanwhile it is running. Let's understand the last category, which is the copy file from the containers, and the like what is the local folder, which is the folder. There is one folder basically which in your local system which connects with your uh, container folder. Okay, by the way, uh, processing is finished. As you can see, it has skipped everything because test toolkit is already installed in my container. Okay, now guys, basically, for example, right now, this is the local path. This is the path of my local machine. But as I mentioned, that Business Central is not running in my local machine. So in order to enter into my container, I need to run this command, enter hyphen bc container, container name bc server. And now it is, I am, as you can see, now not on the part of my local machine, but I am inside this container. And whatever folder structure it will show me now at the moment is not belongs to my local file system. But there is one folder which is connected to this container itself. So for example, if I try to search here the temp folder, it is not there. Okay, if I type crun my, so as you can see here, it has one folder called my. And if I go and see inside the files, so I can see that it has certain PowerShell commands available, PowerShell scripts are available for me, and it has one, let's say, REST API. It has this one file, REST API, and this file, in case if I try to see uh, here in my temporary folder, it is not there. It is completely blank at the moment. Now, what I want is that I want the file of which is available in this container. I want that file into my local system because there is no other way through which I can directly open the file system of this container, and through there I can press Control C and Control V in my local machine. I can do that stuff. No, uh, using this only way I can see that what are the files are available, and then I'll do one thing. I'll copy this, and then I'll exit from this container. And now, as soon as I exit, you can see that now I'm again back to my local file system. So here we have one command available, copy file from BC container. As the name of the command suggests, it helps to copy the file from the container, from the Business Central container into our local system. Okay, so obviously we need to provide the container name first, then the container path. So in this container path switch, we need to provide the path from from where I want to uh, copy the file into my local machine. Okay, then uh, we have to add another switch, which is the local path. Okay, local path means the path of your local machine. And here, if I type ctemp, and then I can provide the name by which I want to save the file in my local file system. Let's say test only, or let's say the same name, REST API. Press enter, and now you can see that it is running, and it gave me this message that copy from container name. This is the file to this place. And now, if you look at here, inside my temporary folder of my local file system, this file is available, which was not there before because this file was never been a part of my local machine, but it was a part of the container itself, right? And this is the way through which you can copy and do the stuff from the container to your local file system. Now, another thing is that in case I want certain file from my local file system to become a part of the container itself, right? So in that case, what we can do is that, for example, I can copy this file, and as I mentioned earlier, there is, after you install the container helper, after you created a business under container, uh, there is a path, and the path is, if you go inside the program data, inside the BC container helper module, inside this extensions, inside this BC server, because this is the name of my container. Inside that container name, first of all, I would like to tell you one thing, that after this module, you will find the folder extensions here. In case you are running more than one container of Business Central, then the folders name of all those containers will be listed out here. So you have to be very cautious with the name of your containers, and you have to see that in which container I want to work on, that folder only you need to open. Okay, and then, for example, I will open this one. You will see this folder called my. So this is a shared folder, as I've showed you in here as well. When I provide this path, C run my, it is a path of my container itself. It's not a part of my local system, right? So this my folder, which is there in the container inside this run folder, is actually shared through in my local file system, which is available inside the folder BC Container Helper extensions, the container name, and then this my. So here, the, if you place any file of your local file system, it will be available there as well. Okay, so for example, let me do one thing. I'll create one text file. Uh, okay, let's say test. Okay, so I'll do this thing. And now, if you come here, and if you want to, let me go back to my container again, enter BC container, uh, container name, BC server. Now I'm inside the container. And now if you want to see that whether my file is available there or not, so you can see that this test.txt is now a part of the container itself, right? I have not done anything. It's just that I've opened the local file system only. I just went to the shared folder. There I create a file, and that file is now a part of the container itself. So this is how we can use these two functions, these two ways through which we can share the file uh, to and from container and the local file system. Okay, so that's all in this today's video which I wanted to share. I hope you like this video. In case you like it, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.